ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, everyone else. I am Josh Samuel, the great Josh Samuel. And on the line with me, ladies and gentlemen, is another great, and his name is Brother Fran. Brother Fran, man, how have you been doing, brother?
I've been doing fucking great. Except for exams, but I've been doing fucking great.
That's good, man. I'm glad you're doing good, man. And today we're gonna talk about some DC stuff. I know people, probably been, scratching their heads and thinking in the back of their mind, well, I thought they were DC fans. Why are they making Marvel videos now? Why are they making videos about DC, not making videos about DC stuff? And as we always say, friend, as I always say, we are fans of both DC and Marvel, but we tend to lean towards DC. But that does not necessarily mean we just outright hate Marvel. Again, Fran, would you agree or disagree?
Plainly agree. It's fucking simple to understand. We really prefer DC over Marvel, but that doesn't mean that we don't enjoy good Marvel movies. It's not that difficult to understand. You don't have to choose sides. It's really simple.
I hear you, man. Starting out, Fran, let me talk to you about this. Now, this movie has been discussed over the past, I'd say, 3 years. And immediately after BVS, everybody was wondering what was going to come next with this character. And there were a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation. Initially, Ben Affleck was going to helm, star, and produce, and he also wrote the film. And it was recently revealed that Deathstroke was going to play a major part in his version of the film. Unfortunately, that wasn't meant to be, but we did get a solid director in Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves, who helmed 2 of the best Planet of the Apes films in that respective trilogy, has also directed a film I really enjoyed, Let Me In, and also helmed Cloverfield. He took over the film. Then Ben Affleck's, status as Bruce Wayne Batman was in the air. Then Justice League unfortunately happened, and that just destroyed everything that was good and hopeful and meaningful. But that's also another video. And most recently, it was finally revealed that Ben Affleck, would hang up the cape. And recently, we found out that Robert Pattinson will in fact play Batman in Matt Reeves' film, which is going to reportedly include multiple villains and be told squarely on Batman's shoulders. Fran, what's your thought on all this, man? Because there's a lot of there was initially a lot of divide because he was the quote unquote vampire in Twilight and those, weird films. But Robert Pattinson can fucking act, bro. He can fucking act. And I just want to know your thoughts on all this, man.
Yeah, I mean, it is something that people don't seem to remember, that every time a major Batman or a major villain in a film has been cast, everyone was angry about it. Like, people were angry about Keaton, people were angry about Heath Ledger, people were angry about Ben Affleck, people are angry right now to Robert Pattinson. And if you're not a stupid idiot who's only seen, and probably even you haven't even seen Twilight, you're gonna criticize him because he's that vampire guy. It's like, all right, but if you see some of his other movies, he's actually really, really good. Like, the other day I watched Good Time, and that movie was really good. Like, it was really good, and his performance was pretty solid. Like, it wasn't out of this world, but if you want to stereotype him as this vampire guy, in this movie he crushes that stereotype. Like, he does it really, really well. And, you have to trust the director. And if Matt Reeves, who's known to be a really, really good director, has chosen him, it's because he's seen something that has attracted him to be his Batman. So,
right.
I mean, you can have your, you can have your, like, respect, like, maybe I don't really like this guy, so let's see. But one thing is to say let's wait until the movie releases and then I will have my verdict and say if I like him or not. And the other thing is like he's been casted. Oh fuck that guy! Let's start change that ORG petitions to make him leave and things like that. That's like, yo, what are you, like 5 years old? Like those things seem to me like you're an angry kid. You know, like, I don't want this, mommy. I want to change it because I don't know what's the real scope of everything that is going on. I don't know. I'm really, really fucking excited for that movie because Matt Reeves is a really good director and Robert Pattinson has showed us that he can really act. So I'm interested on see what take they're giving Batman in this time.
I got you. Okay. Do you think that Gotham City Sirens is the next logical route, assuming that Birds of Prey is a success?
Yeah, I mean, Harley Quinn is going to sell like crazy. Like, if Birds of Prey is a success, which I think it's going to be because it has like a really low budget, so it doesn't need to do $1 billion, to break even. So I think that it is logical because Harley Quinn sells a lot, and having, you know, Poison Ivy and Catwoman and Batgirl, that's gonna sell. Like, Margot Robbie is going to carry that trilogy up her shoulders alone because she can do it. Not only because she's a really good actress, but because she's so into pop culture right now that it just sells. So I think, yeah, it's the logical step forward. Because right now you've done Birds of Prey, so the next logical step forward is another superhero team up that it's all girls, that includes Harley Quinn. So I agree that's the logical step forward.
I got you. Fran, I gotta talk to you about this, man. Now, again, this is something that's been discussed even further back beyond the Batman or whatever you want to call it. Dwayne Johnson was cast as Black Adam, a character that I really, really, really like, a favorite of mine in the DC world. And again, there have been a lot of rumors as to when he'll first appear. There was a wild rumor that he'll be in Suicide Squad 2, which is now going to be called the Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. There were rumors that he would square off against the Justice League in the Justice League movie. And all we know now is that, you know, Dwayne Johnson still is going to play Black Adam, and that he has said that the movie should start filming sometime next year, which by my account means that the movie would be ready for a 2021 release. Now, assuming all this comes to fruition, there are still a lot of question marks, like will the movie obviously be rated R? What direction are they going to take the movie? Will he stand alone in his own trilogy, or will he cross over with other characters and other things of that nature? What's your thought on Black Adam played by Dwayne Johnson, brother?
Well, I think that it is a logical thing to start working on after Shazam. Because Shazam wasn't like this crazy... It didn't have this crazy amount of money that they made, but it connected with people and with audiences. So I think that's, like, again, the logical step forward. You have Dwayne Johnson, who is like the most popular celebrity there is. Like, right now, everyone knows who that guy is. So putting that guy in your franchise is only going to make it go even better. So I'm excited too, because down the line I'm seeing a Shazam versus Black Adam crossover, and that will be fucking awesome to see. And right now they also got the green light to make Shazam 2. So I don't know if they're going to start that combat or that conflict in that movie, but I'm really, really excited because it's going to make DC go to a higher standard, because they're going to get a really good celebrity. And we're going to see... People used to complain a lot, like, we haven't got a lot of backstory in the Justice League. They should have gone their Marvel route and make standalone films and this and that. So now they won't have any complains about it, because they will make a standalone Black Adam film and then the conflict and the combat with Shazam. So I think it's the perfect storm to make a lot of money and have a really good movie.
Yeah, I agree. And even with Dwayne Johnson, I see some people say that he can't act that good or he won't be able to do it. I mean, Luke Hobbs in the Fast and Furious franchise, for those of you that have or haven't seen it, I mean, that to me just shows that he can definitely play Black Adam. But that's a whole nother discussion. Speaking of the Shazam sequel, friend, don't you think it's a bit ironic? And yes, this is where my saltiness comes in. Don't you think it's a bit ironic that with a lot less money, Shazam gets a sequel before Henry Cavill's Superman gets a sequel?
Yeah, I don't understand how Warner Brothers works. Like, I mean, I don't know the proportion of how much money in comparison to what it costs to make like Man of Steel and Shazam, but I just don't understand it. I think that the logical reasoning is like, okay, we've connected with critics, we've connected with audiences, so we're gonna go this route all the way and make as much money as we can. Because Man of Steel, it was divisive, and you, as a studio, you don't want a divisive movie, because that means that people are conflicted and some people are not going to watch it. So maybe they were like more patient to see if they were going to make a Man of Steel 2 movie. And right now they're like, we are making some money, we are starting to connect with audiences, the critics love this movie, so we are going to make our little Shazam universe in the DC universe and go all the way with it. Is it fair? No, it is not fair. Because I think that Man of Steel is a better movie than Shazam, and a Man of Steel 2 movie is more deserved than a Shazam 2 movie. But I'm not going to complain about it. Like, right now, I'm not a Warner Brothers executive, so I can't change their minds. So right now, I'm just happy that they are making another Shazam movie. It's as simple as that. It's not fair, like, and right now we don't even know if Henry Cavill is going to come back. So it's all very, very sad. But what can we do about it?
Yeah. And incidentally enough, friend, that was my next question. Does this DC movie universe, we're not even going to really call it the DCEU anymore, does this DC movie universe make sense without Henry Cavill as Superman? Because as you're well aware, as most of us are well aware, he's taken on more roles. He was last year in the very, very, very wildly entertaining Mission Impossible Fallout. He also starred in a yet to be released movie Namus with the lovely Alexandra Daddario. He also took a big role in The Witcher, and it's expected that that show on Netflix is going to be a huge success and is going to spawn multiple seasons. And as you just said, we sadly don't know the status of Henry Cavill. There was a big shakeup last year back in September where the internet went crazy after it was reported that he was out, that, they couldn't come to terms and he was out as Superman. Superman's going to take the back burner. Then his manager came back and said something completely different. And at this stage, all we can say is we don't really know, but most are assuming that he's already gone. Does this universe make sense without him as Superman, friend?
I mean, this new universe that they are creating, yeah, but then they should not keep like any strings connected to the old DCEU. Because if you are going to replace every fucking single actor except for 3, like Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, and Margot Robbie, it doesn't make sense. Like, call it a reboot, call it whatever you want, but if you are not going to have the same actors, you are not going to keep making movies of the original characters, it's not logical to keep, it is, everything is connected and this and that. No, it's not logical to have that. And it's a fucking disgrace that if in the end, if Henry Cavill is really out, it's not only sad, like it makes me angry, because you look at the guy and you're like, yo, this is the perfect Superman that we're ever going to have. Like, he is the character. And right now, because some executives don't even know what the fuck to do, and they prefer to make a Supergirl movie over a Man of Steel 2 movie, it's just like,
It doesn't make sense.
yeah, but I have kind of my hopes up because I think that what happened those days where people said that he was out and then he posted that Instagram video where he said like today has been interesting or something like that with a Superman figure. I think that they are undergoing negotiations. Like everyone was saying that he wanted to get more money and the studio didn't want him to. They want to give him more money. So I think that it is all about negotiations. Like they are all the time like he's out, he's in because Henry Cavill and his manager are not stupid, and that conflict and seeing that people react really badly to see him out, I think that's in our favor because that means that the studio is going to see that he's really loved by the people and they may give him the signed and the contract that he wants to get. So I'm kind of hopeful in that way. But the thing is that we need answers, it's been like 2 years since we knew anything about if he's still Superman or not. Like, just say something, I don't understand how you can be 2 years in negotiations with an actor. You have to have something already clear in your head.
Right. Okay. I agree. And no matter what happens, he'll always be Superman to me. That's just the way it's gonna be. And it's gonna be tough not seeing him in a film if the rumors are true, and tough picturing anybody else as Superman because he just deserves so much. I mean, like you said, he embodies the character. He looks exactly like Superman, and even off screen, he is Superman. But another video, another day. Now, Fran, I want to talk to you about some other shit. We're gonna talk a little bit about the New Gods film and Ava DuVernay. Shout out to Tom King, by the way. Now, there's been a lot of discussions had about this film as well. With the dark side being a big one, Granny Goodness being another one, and people have been split on this as well. I know there's been a sort of Ava versus Zach on Twitter for the pure reasoning of apparently Ava liked a tweet that went against something Zach did. And it kind of, caused an uproar. People are saying, "Oh, I'm not seeing her film. Fuck Ava. Fuck New Gods, etc., etc." And the people that do that, that's them. That's them. It is what it is. What's your thought on all this? Because as we know, Ray Porter is the dark side of Justice League. Most are expecting that she'll come in with the new cast. And what's your thought on all this? Ava with New Gods, Ava versus Zach on Twitter, due to the fanboys and fangirls, etc., etc. What's your thought on all this, man?
Well, I mean, I think that first of all, they're clearly going to recast him because Ray Porter is a voice actor. They are going to need like a performance capture actor for the facial expressions and everything. So I think that they're probably going to recast him. And the other thing about that controversy and everything, like, yeah, she liked that tweet, which that tweet is fucking stupid because, some people seem like to be the religious people that they used to call out, like, no, let us be whatever we want. They are now that religious people. Like, they are trying to make people be and dress whatever they like. So that on one part. But the thing is that, yeah, she liked it. Maybe she was kind of in agreement with the tweet. Maybe not directly saying, Zack Snyder is this and that. But she later hit a like in a tweet that I saw yesterday, where a guy said, I'm excited for Ava's New Gods, and I hope that we see a good dark side, and I also hope that we get to see the Snyder Cut of Justice League to see what Ray Porter did, and something in those lines were said in a tweet, and she liked it. So it's like right now the people that were canceling her, like, no, she's a snake and this and that, and now she's hit a like on a tweet that says that they hope to release the Snyder Cut. So right. I think that some people's heads are about to explode or something, because their narrative is going to change like in left and right without control. So I saw the controversy. It's fucking stupid. I don't see that she has any problem with him. And she even hit like on a tweet that said, I hope to see the Snyder Cut of Justice League. So I don't see the problem. People are like so ready to jump to conclusions without seeing the evidence. Like, oh, she likes that, she's cancelled, fuck New Gods and this and that. And she started blocking people and they're like, oh, she's blocking us because we are telling her the truth. And you're like, yo, you are fucking annoying. That's that's why she's blocking you.
Yeah, you harassing her.
Yeah, simple as that. And then, like, 2 hours later, you see that she hit a like on a tweet that supported the Snyder Cut of Justice League. So now, what are you going to say? Is she still cancelled? Is she a snake right now? Or is she, I don't know. Like the same thing that happened with Dave Bautista, Like everyone was like, oh, she's a snake and this and that. And later he said that he's started working with Zack and that he's a great guy and that he loves working with him. And everyone is like, okay, he's now uncancelled. He's part of us now. It's like, then why did you cancel him in the first time? Like, it seems like a childish behavior to me.
Right. Okay. Now, friend, let's talk about the Snyder Cut. Now, we know it's finished. There is a needless to say, there's a high demand for the Snyder Cut. Trade publications everywhere, even bringing it up and mentioning it. I haven't seen anything like this. I know people said it took a while for the Donner Cut to get released of Superman 2. I wasn't alive during those times, so I don't know how that went about, but there is a very, 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 very high demand for the Snyder Cut. It's worldwide. It's hitting trade publications. So what is WB waiting on, bro?
Well, I think that they are waiting to see more demand even. Because it is something that I've seen, some people like the film Junkie and John Aaron Garza and those guys that they've told to people that were in the production of Justice League and all that stuff, and they lost money in the movie, like with promotion, reshoots, everything. The movie went up to a budget of a lot of money and they only made like $650 million, which is not a lot. And the studio is like, this was part of the Zack Snyder universe. We are trying to move away as far of that as possible. We want standalone movies. We want a little bit of more lighthearted movies. And I think that they are waiting to see even more demand. Like, they want to see a lot of people asking for it because they are not only lost money, they have to put more money to finish the cut. Because there's some VFX that need to be done and some score that need to be done. It's millions of dollars. It's like a super production of Hollywood. So they are like, we need to have a really big market, not only because to break even, like make, for example, $40 or $50 million in Blu-ray sales. They need to make even more because they don't see it in the way of, it's his last movie and everything that happened and this and that. They are like, money. They are a company. They only think about money and they need to see an even bigger market to put the man to say, okay, Zack Snyder, I give you the $40 million, go finish the VFX, we're going to release it, that's it. So our mission should be to make it more mainstream and make it more public to the people. And when someone approaches you and says, well, I don't think that thing doesn't exist, you should be like reasonable and try to explain him things and have him to give him proof that it does exist and all that stuff. Because I see a lot of people on Twitter, well, people are simply misinformed. Maybe they are not doing it in an evil way, but they are like, I don't think that exists. And people, like 6 or to 10 people jump on that tweet like, oh, shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot. And it's like, you're not going to get more people in your cause if you start to insult people that don't even have the information. So the reasonable way to, I think that they are waiting for money. They need to see in an even bigger market because they have to spend more money on it, and then see how much money they get back. So they have to be sure that there's a big market to not only break even, but to make profit from it. and that's the difficult task, because if it was done like 100%, it would be some little millions to have distribution and make the Blu-ray boxes and everything, but you have to put money to finish it, so that's the tricky part.
Yeah. I think people think that with all that, I think they think that it can't be done, but it certainly will and can be done. It's just a matter of a lot of what you said, the demand. They need to see more demand, and they need to see that it's everywhere, which I don't know how they don't see that it's everywhere. I just think they're kind of just testing the waters with these upcoming releases to see, hey, this is a hit, so let's spin off of that, like with Aquaman, and now they're doing the Trench, etc., etc. But yeah, man, all I can say is, continue to, whoever's listening, continue to support it, continue to hashtag it, continue to make more and more people aware. And in regards to, people attacking each other, getting crazy with each other, I you know I don't support it. I mean, I don't necessarily think that you should just stand by and let somebody talk shit to you, especially if they're not, not trying to listen to what you're saying. But at the same time, I agree, Fred, you can't just go in at somebody calling them, yeah, a fucking idiot, and expect them to wanna, join in. So I definitely see both sides of the spectrum, and we'll talk about that a little later. Fran, now recently the GOAT released several photos on Vero in regards to both Darkseid and Cyborg, particularly Cyborg. And as you know, Cyborg was the heart of Justice League, and Zack's films, they one thing I've noticed and I've mentioned before is, he always diversifies his cast, and he always tends to show people of color or people of a different ethnicity in a positive light. And that's something I always have thought is neat. What's your thought on, all this, Cyborg being the heart of Justice League, and, Zack's films being diverse as they are?
Well, I think that, I mean, obviously he said that he was the heart of the film, but because of the stills and the images and what he tells us about his cut of Justice League, you can really see it. Like, that guy goes through such a tragic life in like a span of 1 to 2 years. Like, he has the accident, his mother dies, his father is killed in the Snyder cut, because we saw it. Like, he was crying and everything. He's not adapted to his body, and in the end, what he posted, like, the mother boxes are tempting him to come back to us, Victor, and join us and all that stuff, and he's like seeing his family, and he probably chooses not to go with them to save the world. So I think that was what he meant with the heart of the film. Like, he's the one who's making the sacrifice plays, and he's the one making the biggest and most difficult choices, because he's the heart, because he knows what's right. And although everything that has happened to him, that it's a lot, he even goes through all of that and makes the right choices. So I think that's why he says he's the heart of the film. And yeah, with the diversity and everything, yeah, I liked it. I like it because he introduces it in a smooth way, in an intelligent way. He's not like, oh, he's a black guy or he's an Asian guy, because it doesn't match. It doesn't match my story. But here it is. I gotta, take that mark in my agenda. It's like, it is convenient to the story. It is well written. The characters are not there because of the sake of being there. They are good to the story, and you don't even notice. Like, I knew that Aquaman was a white guy with blonde hair, but when I saw Jason Momoa, I was like, yo, fuck yeah, that's Aquaman. Like, I was really, really excited. And you weren't thinking like, oh, this is like an agenda that they make him Polynesian because of this and that. It was so smooth and so intelligent that you were fine with it. Because if you make these kind of things in an intelligent way, there's no complaint about it. Like, why would you complain about it? It's as simple as that. And I think that, for example, Ray Fisher, yeah, Cyborg is a black guy, but he's so good what we have seen. He's so good acting, and he's so good in the character and being the dramatic side of Cyborg and everything. And you feel that it is not forced. That's what I like about his films. That he brings diversity, he brings strong women, strong black guys, strong Polynesian guys, and you're fine with it. And you don't feel like it is forced, and you don't feel like it's like a convenience of the script or anything like that. That's why I really, really like the way he introduces those kind of characters, because he makes it in an intelligent and smooth way that there's no way you can complain about that aspect of the character, because there's nothing to complain about.
Damn. Damn. I agree, man. I agree. And shout out to Zach, man. Shout out to Ray Fisher as well, man. I sincerely hope we get to see more of him as Cyborg. I hope he gets his own standalone film, and I just wish him nothing but the best. And from what we've seen on him on social media and even in interviews and in movies, he seems like a down-to-earth, humble, and great guy. And I just wish him nothing but the best. Now, moving on, friend, this next topic is probably going to take a while to discuss, so I'm ready. Wonder Woman 1984, excuse me. Now, there's been a lot riding on Wonder Woman 1984. There's been a lot said about it. Most recently, a Twitter user reported that the screening for the movie went extremely well. Patty Jenkins said that, even she regrets having delayed the film because, initially the film was supposed to come out in November. However, with Frozen, Star Wars, the return of Emo Kylo, and other movies coming out, it's understandable why the delay happened. And that gives it a chance to coincide with Wonder Woman coming out, the first Wonder Woman movie coming out 3 years prior. Now, we do know that Patty Jenkins has returned to direct. Gal Gadot is still Wonder Woman, good God almighty. Chris Pine is still going to return as Steve Trevor. And there's been a lot of things said about the movie. A poster that was released recently got mixed responses. People were saying that, oh, this looks like Thor Ragnarok. See, I told you they're rebooting the DC movieverse. I'm done. And people saying that the armor doesn't make sense. And there was a young lady on Twitter that said that was basically trying to start a Wonder Woman Captain Marvel war. I think Gal, congratulated Brie Larson on her success, which Brie Larson didn't respond to, but I'm not gonna get started today. What's your thought on Wonder Woman 84, Fran, and what's your expectation? Because I know a lot of people also think that this could also gross $1 billion as well.
Well, I think that it has the capability because of the first one went extremely well. But I don't know. I've saw a lot of people saying, DC Ragnarok or Wonder Woman Ragnarok is like, yeah, like if Ragnarok invented colors in cinema. Like, do you really have that perspective or that ratio of films that you only see through films and you think that everything with color is Ragnarok? That's fucking stupid. It is the 80s, for God's sake. Like, I wasn't alive then, but what I've seen is everything is lights and neons and everything is colorful. So they're going to make the fucking movie colorful. It's like, I don't know, it's like I'm making... If people want a dark Wonder Woman 84 movie, it's like having a World War II movie with a lot of colors. It's like, it doesn't match. If it's the 80s, you gotta have colors and neons and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I'm excited for it. I really liked the first one. I'm probably the most curious that I am is to see how they are going to bring Steve back.
Same.
I don't know if it's going to be something with the Pedro Pascal character, or she's going to go to 80s, to say bring him back or something like that. But I think that they're going to fuck with the continuity because, of course, he said that she walked away from mankind and it's 84, so she's come to mankind again before BBS, so that's not a big problem. But I don't know. I think that what you said with the Captain Marvel, yeah, there's debate because they are like the superhero female leads, and there's always going to be conflict. But there's no need if they are not conflicting. Like if Wonder Woman releases a poster, you don't have to go and say, Captain Marvel is a shitty movie. Look at this wonderful poster. It's like, no, they don't need to compete in those things. If they're trying to say, well, which one of the two was the best one in sending a message to the young girls or this and that, I understand that conflict. But right now, for example, if Captain Marvel 2 gets announced and people are like, yo, fuck you, Wonder Woman 84, Captain Marvel is going to make $3 trillion and this and that, it's like, but why? Like, you're trying to make conflict out of nothing.
Exactly.
Like, I think that some people, I mean, it's obvious that some people just like conflict for the sake of conflict. Like, they like to argue with strangers on an app when they are like 45 years old and they don't have anything else to do with their lives. Like, because you see a lot of that on Twitter. Like, people that are like 40 arguing with teenagers to see which one is better, Wonder Woman or Captain Marvel. It's like, yo, you don't have anything else to do in your life? Like, are you really that sad? Like, I don't understand it, like, for real.
Bro.
It's like, and the Ragnarok thing. I saw one, I mean, not one guy, some guys in the DC fandom like, oh, fuck this. I'm only going to see Zack Snyder movies and fuck this new DCEU. Fuck Patty Jenkins. Jenkins is a snake and this and that. It's like, what all are you again? Like, can you see that what they are doing has a reasonable explanation? Like, it is the fucking 80s.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be color. And if she wants to have color, let it be color. You can't be all like, yeah, I support Zack Snyder because artistic freedom in the Snyder Cut and this and that. And when another director has their own artistic freedom, you're going after them like, you're a fucking snake, fuck you, you're a Marvel fanboy and this and that. It's like, okay, bro. Like, I don't have the time to argue with this kind of people.
Right.
As simple as that. I'm looking forward for it. Yeah, I see that it has a lot of colors. Does it look like Ragnarok? Okay, but Ragnarok didn't invent colors in cinema. So, I don't know why there are people there saying that. I'm looking forward for it. I think it can make $1 billion if there's no big blockbusters around that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think and it looks like it will have good word of mouth, and I don't know what else is coming out that week. I think there's a Pixar movie maybe coming out, and I don't think it's a popular one, so I don't know, bro. But yeah, I think it will gross $1 billion, and I think Patty Jenkins is definitely going to end the Wonder Woman trilogy on a high note. I know she said, I think I remember seeing her say somewhere she wanted the third film to be somewhere in the present day, so that would definitely be interesting. But we'll have to wait till June 5th, 2020, needless to say. Now, Fran, I'm going to play a video, and I'm praying to God you can hear it. If not, I'll ask you after it's done, and yeah, we'll go from there.
All right.
Yes. It's getting really good. It's getting really good now. You know, anyone who knows anything about, he's always late. But then when he arrives, he gets stuff done. And that's definitely how this film's production schedule is proceeding. We're a little late, but we're really, the reason why we're late, and the honest to God truth is the reason why we're late, is because we're all, and I include myself in this, we are very meticulously focused on making a movie that's not just like one of the greatest superhero movies that possibly make. This movie's also going to be a gift to the fans. This movie is going to be a real pure offering to the fans of this material. And we've hit a couple points script's development where we've looked at it and gone, this isn't it yet. It has to be. And we're talking about sparking a whole universe, not just DC multiverse. It's the Speedster multiverse, and the Speedsters are the ones who connect all of the disparate pieces of it. Because Marvel is a universe, right? It's one world and all the same characters. DC is a multiverse. All these different stories with different realities, different characters, different versions of characters, and the Speedsters are the ones who through it all. They're like the connecting bridge between all these different collaged parts. So I'm really delighted at how focused everyone is on getting it just right. And I'm really devoted to that as well. And I honestly, we won't make the film unless it's going to be this consummate, beautiful offering to the fans and to everybody. I mean, we're really focused on making super gift.
Now, Fran, were you able to hear all of that or some of that?
Yeah, most of it. I think that's from the Flash directors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And brother, the good brother Ezra, the very talented, no homo, very handsome Ezra Miller. That's the thing. Another thing too, Fran. Zack Snyder casted some very beautiful people, but that's also another video for another day. Now, again, Fran, the Flash has also been piled with rumors, so much so that you could honestly write a 10-page essay, possibly longer, on how many rumors there have been surrounding the film. Again, Ezra Miller played the Flash in BVS and in Justice League, unfortunately, in Justice League, the actual real Justice League film. And he was set to get a solo film. Initially, it was set to be released in 2018. There's been numerous delays, numerous changes in director. The director of Dope was initially set to helm the film, but disagreements on how to approach the tone of the film. He was gone. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, somebody who I was rooting for, were rumored to be taking over. That didn't happen. They wanted to do solo instead. And then the directors of Game Night, which is also a really good film, were last rumored to be helming the film. And as of now, we don't know much aside from Ezra Miller apparently took matters into his own hands and is trying to helm the screenplay. We also hearing rumors that WB still wants something different, which isn't surprising because it's WB. What's your thought on The Flash, man? Because this is a film that, as evidenced by Ezra Miller in this video, not only could expand the greater universe of DC, this is a film that could potentially be one of the greatest superhero films of all time. And I appreciate that Ezra, how much he mentioned the fans and how he kept saying that they're not going to make it until they get it right. What's your thought on all this, brother Fran?
Well, I think that it's a little bit of a mess.
Go ahead.
At first, we had two directors. Both of them were fired. Then we got these two guys from Date Night who they are supposed to be working on the film, but they were announced in May or April of last year. And we haven't heard anything. 1 year after, they are still in pre-production. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. I think that Ezra Miller is a really, really good choice for the Flash. And I think that a Flash movie, it will work really well because of the speed thing. For example, in the X-Men movies, every time Quicksilver has those scenes where he's running really fast and everything, everyone really enjoys them because they are visually impressive. So a full film of that will be really, really good, and I think that a lot of people will go see it just for that. But the thing is, what the fuck is going on? Then I saw reports of that Ezra Miller was with another Flash writer making a script, a darker script.
Yeah, Grant Morrison.
Grant Morris, they were working on it, and Warner Brothers were going to choose between the two brothers' script and Ezra's script, and supposedly Ezra's contract finished like in June or in May of this year. So, but then, like 2 days ago, you see that Variety has said that he's set to star in The Flash, this next standalone movie in the DC universe. So you're like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Like someone explained that like it's been 2 to 3 years since we last knew anything clear about The Flash. Like just say something. If his contract is up and you don't want to choose his script, just say like Ezra Miller stands down as The Flash. Okay, that's it. We will see what we do in the future. But right now we don't know which script that they've chosen. We don't know if they are really going to make a Flash movie. We don't know if Ezra Miller is still The Flash. Like, say something. Like, I think that there's a big market to have it with that kind of movie, and I think that fans are really hungry for it because it's something that we've never seen in a big budget movie like The Flash. I mean, if you don't count Justice League, that we are not going to count that one. But I don't know. I just want to know what the fuck is going on. Because you see rumors like he's out, he's in. They are choosing a script. Warner Brothers has to choose a script. These two brothers are going in pre-production. Like, now Ezra Miller doesn't want those two guys, and he wants to make his own script in a darker tone. Warner Brothers wants a lighter tone, and Ezra Miller wants a darker tone. But his contract is going to be up in some days. So what is going to happen? And it's like, yo, please, like, say something. I don't know. Warner Brothers is so good in some things and so stupid in other things that I just can't understand their decisions.
Yeah, and shout out to not to cut you off. Shout out to Shiraz Faruqi on Twitter as well. But continue, brother.
Yeah, because it's like the same with Henry Cavill. Like, just say something. Yeah. If you are going undergoing negotiations, just say it. Like, go to the trades and go to Variety and say, okay, put this in an article. Henry Cavill and Warner Bros. Are undergoing negotiations to play Superman in the next, 2 movies. Ezra Miller and Warner Brothers are undergoing negotiations to play The Flash in his next standalone Flash movie. That doesn't mean that it is confirmed. Maybe the negotiations go wrong and they fire these 2 guys. But at least say something, that we can't be every fucking single day eating false rumors and scoops and things like that. Like, have a pair of balls and say what the fuck you're doing. I don't know, man. It's frustrating when they are always all the time. Yeah, it's a mess. Like, they don't know. I don't think that they don't even know what the fuck to do. And even they're having like these new people that are coming into Warner Brothers, and the later executives are getting fired and everything. But I think that they are going with such precaution because of what happened in the past that they are scared to make big decisions.
Yeah, and for the fans' sake, man, you again, Ezra Miller is a prime example. You have a actor who is very dedicated to his role, an actor who's very passionate about his role, much like Ray Fisher. I wish him nothing but the best. I sincerely hope that wasn't the last we saw of Ezra Miller or Ray Fisher, because they deserve so much more. They deserve so much better. And I hope everything works out for the best for them and for the fans as well. Speaking of the fans, Fran, and then we're going to close because this is going to be a lengthy part, and this is going to make people hit the dislike button, and this is probably going to make some people raise their eyebrows like, well, what do you mean, Josh Samuel? I thought we were cool. Yeah, we are cool, but I gotta address this. I have to address this. If you're in I feel like, to start out, Fran, if you're in a position to where you can address things like they need to be addressed, and you see something that's not necessarily right or all the way right, then why not do it? Now, Fran, us being fans, we're so blessed. 30 years ago, I don't think the internet was as popular as it was. I don't even think it was around. I don't think comic book movies were as prominent as they are now. And we're so blessed to be in this age of digital media for the most part. We're so blessed to be in an age where we have a multitude of comic book movies, a multitude of superhero movies, uh persons like the very beautiful and very elegant and very thoughtful and caring Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman, the very no homo, very handsome and very talented and very thoughtful and wise Ezra Miller playing Flash, Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther, etc., etc. Wrong universe, but still, you get the point. We're so blessed. Now, going to the DC fandom, there's always been a divide. You know, it's gotten worse with the divisive response to BVS. You know, obviously, you and I both know people. There were people that hated it. There were people that loved it. There were people that were in between. You and I both love it, as with most of Zack Snyder's films. I consider him to be a GOAT and a legend among directors. You go on Twitter, it's like demons jumped out of the pit of hell and decided to tweet some just diabolically demonic shit. And it's like they just begging for attention. And now it's usually always somebody that doesn't have a picture or somebody that doesn't make their face known as tweeting some bitch ass shit. We've seen the divide, and with the rant, you know, with the Snyder cut support, the Snyder cut, you know, crusade and fandom, you know, it's gotten to be where it's a point where it's a tug of war, and there's a third side just pulling, I feel, in the middle. On one side, you got, you know, the fans that want to see the Snyder cut. On another side, you have fans that are ready to move on. And then the third tug, you have people pulling, saying, okay, both of y'all need to be quiet. Let's just go in the direction of the new movies. Let's just move on from all of it and let's just stay silent about it. I'm gonna say this, if there is a person that decides that, hey, I don't want to support any other of the upcoming DC movies because of what they did to Zack Snyder, because yeah, it's fucked up. It's extremely fucked up what WB and everybody involved did. It's extremely fucked up and it's disgusting. And quite frankly, it's pretty criminal. If you're a person that doesn't want to see a DC movie from Warner Brothers or any more of Warner Brothers movies for that matter, go be my guest. I'm not going to hold that against you. If you're a person that wants to see DC movies and wants to move on, you know, that's your business. I don't really care. My thing is, I don't think either side should be harassing each other just because, you don't like what the other person is saying. And furthermore, I don't think the big thing is, I don't think we should be harassing other directors like Ava DuVernay in terms of saying, oh, you like this tweet 2 years ago and you're a bitch, or I hate you, etc., etc. What Joss Whedon did with Justice League, yeah, I don't think that was the right thing. I think WB, Joss Whedon, and a host of others that were involved in giving us that product in November of 2017, I just think it's criminal. I think it's disgusting, and WB needs to make it right. But it's as messed up as it is. There has to be a line drawn, because like I said earlier, we're so blessed, friend. We're so blessed to have superhero films. Some of the people that play these characters, again, like the lovely Gal Gadot, like a Chadwick Boseman in the Marvel Universe, like a Ray Fisher, like a Ezra Miller, like a Henry Cavill even. All those run-on sentences, no commas and hashtags and semicolons included. Fran, what's your take on all this? And if you had anything to add, be my guest, brother. I will stay completely silent.
Well, I think that it's a little bit complicated, but there's something that we should all understand, and it's like, Twitter is not real life. Movies are worth your time, but they are not worth your anger and your sadness and everything that I see people go through every day on Twitter. and it is so stupid. Like both sides, for example, the people that are for the Snyder Cut, there's some really fucking stupid people out there. Like they are all the time harassing people. Joe, I've got this source that told me that maybe the Snyder Cut needs some money to finish. Oh, you're a fucking snake, you don't know anything, and this and that. It's like, Joe, he's trying to help, you know? As simple as that. He's trying to help, and you're harassing him because it doesn't fit your narrative. And the other side is it's the fucking same. People are all the time like, move on, it's not going to happen, move on. Yo, what the fuck? Like, I'm going to do with my life whatever I want to do with my life.
Exactly.
And if I want to keep fighting for a movie that I want to see, I'm going to keep fighting for it.
Exactly.
And you can criticize me as much as you want, but why? Like, when it comes out, you're going to be the first one to see it because I know it. Because people are... Even the people that are saying move on, the day that it gets released, they are going to be the first ones to see it. So it's like, let people do whatever the fuck they want. And in the other side, the same. If you want the Snyder Cut and you're not happy with the new direction of the DC universe, let people enjoy new films.
Mm-hmm.
Cinema is all about having a good time, talking about it, discussing it, being excited for a new movie, analyzing movies, talking about them, but it is not worth making personal attacks in any of the sites. Like, and I see a lot of people, I always say their names, like Dave the Film Junkie and, for example, Jordan Garza, that, they are fighting for the Snyder Cut. Like, every 2 to 3 days they put a new video about it, and they are all the time talking about it in a positive way. And because they have some information that is not as hopeful as you could wish, everyone is going after them. Like, for example, Dave the Film Junkie, everyone on Twitter is all the time having arguments with him, like, oh, you don't have a source, you're a liar, fuck you, you are anti-Snyder, and this and that. And it's like, Joe, shut the fuck up. Like, the guy is just giving you information that you wouldn't have if it wasn't for him. And he's trying to have that movie out. But he's not going to tell you a fairy tale. He's not going to tell you, oh yeah, the movie's finished and it's going to be released this Saturday. Because it is not like that. And you may not like it, but don't go fucking insult the guy because you don't like what reality is. Because he doesn't have the fault. It's not his fault. As simple as that. And there's a lot of people all the time arguing and, oh, fuck this new movie, fuck Patty Jenkins, this looks like Thor Ragnarok, and it's like, yo, it's really your life that sad? You don't have to be personal attacking someone and, being fucking angry about the colors of a poster of a movie. Like, I simply don't understand. And then they are like, yeah, I'm the leader of the movement and this and that. And what have you done for the movement? Fuck you. I have been doing everything and all the campaigns and this and that. And it's like, yo, everyone is helping in their own way.
Yeah.
It's what I said earlier. Like, how are you going to get more people to want it and to say, yo, Warner Brothers, there's like twice the people now that want it that what it was in 2017. With having that attitude, because a lot of people are, I don't know, maybe scared to point out the toxicity in the fandom, and there's a lot of fucking toxicity in it. There's a lot of people that are fucking crazy in there. Like, fuck Patty Jenkins, he's a snake, and this guy is a snake too, and that guy is a snake too. It's like, okay, and what are you gaining from this? Is the Snyder Cut closer to you because you called out these people saying they are snakes? Is the Snyder Cut closer to you because you are talking shit to other people on Twitter who are trying even harder than you are to get that movie out?
Right.
I just simply don't understand it. Like, if you want the movie out, you need to show Warner Brothers that there's money to be made. And if every single person that comes to you and they don't have any clue about the movement or the film or what happened or anything, and the first thing you say, fuck you, it doesn't exist, you fucking snake, fuck you, you're not going to get more people involved in the movement, and you're going to create a divisive movement that is already divided, and you're going after the heads or the most vocal parts of the movement that are almost every day trying to keep the movement alive and posting new videos, new information, and this and that, and you are all the fucking time insulting them, personal attacks. You are anti-Snyder. You are not a fan of Zack Snyder, and this and that. And I'm his biggest fan. It's like, yo, this is not a this is not something to say who's the biggest fan. This is a group of people who is asking for a movie, and if you do it in a respectful way, they may listen to you. For example, if you go to someone in the street and you need money to the subway, if you go to someone and you're like, yo, give me fucking money for the subway, they're going to say no. But you're like, hey, listen, excuse me, I'm late to work. Could I have like 50 cents because I really need to go to this job interview to get this job? Which one of the two people do you think that people are going to give money?
The one that's assertive but calm and not acting like an asshole.
Like a fucking kid, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You have to be respectful. Yeah, there's a lot of bad things that happened to the guy, and there's a lot of bad things that happened to the movie, but not because of that you have to be fucking crazy about it. As simple as that. Be respectful. Ask for it in a respectful manner. Try to make it as mainstream as possible. Try making campaigns and all that kind of stuff that is fucking wonderful, and making it as global as possible. But don't start fucking harassing every single person that doesn't agree with you. Like, for example, like the VFX thing. Like, well, I thought a lot of people have said that maybe that is probably not done, that there's money, that the movie needs some money to finish. And people are like, fuck you, you don't know shit, your source is a fraud, and fuck you, you're not a scooper, and this and that. And it's like, yo, he's just giving you information to see the state of things. As simple as that. I don't know, people on Twitter try to insult everyone because they give new information. As simple as that. Like, we need, for example, 40 million to finish. Those 40 million are going to be still there even if you say the guy who said it is a fucking asshole, or if you support it. But if you support it, more people will go to your claim and join you. But if you become a toxic movement and harass everyone that doesn't agree with you, you are not going to achieve shit because people won't join your movement. As simple as that. If someone kindly asks you for something in a respectful way, you have more probability to join them than if they shout and insult you and attack you in a personal way. I think that's a root problem in this movement. That, I mean, of course not everyone is like that, but some really vocal members of it are fucking toxic, and every time that they put those toxic tweets, the big sites get them and they're like, oh, the releasing the Snyder Cut movement is fucking toxic and this and that, and they're giving us a bad image, and we are not moving closer to an objective with that mentality.
Right. And don't get me wrong, friend, great points, by the way. I completely agree. Don't get me wrong. Now, we as fans of Snyder, we get attacked from not only DC fans but Marvel fans. As you and I have both discussed, there's this section of the Marvel fandom that is hell bent on making Avengers Endgame the highest grossing movie of all time. Which, I mean, if that's what you want to do, be my guest. And you delivered a epic speech a few weeks back when we were talking about Endgame, about why there's other things in life to do. And with that being said, friend, there's a portion of the Snyder fandom that is doing positive things. It's not everybody, but I think there's this part that's frustrated. There's, as you said, there's toxic fans in the fandom. Unfortunately, that's just what comes with it. But there's this part of the fandom that is doing positive things and that has done positive things. Donating to charity, suicide prevention. Me and you collaborating, or me and Jordan or other people collaborating. There are people doing positive things for the movement. And I think that's the main thing that's been on my mind. as opposed to just, fighting. And I know it's tough being on Twitter. I know it's tough being on forum sites saying, yeah, I really enjoy BVS. I really enjoy Man of Steel. Zack Snyder is a GOAT. Zack Snyder does this well. Zack Snyder does this in superhero movies that very few, if any, do. I know it's tough because you're bound to get attacked. Well, I think Marvel does this better. I think Marvel writes ABCs better. I know it's tough. But instead of using all that energy to go back and forth, say, hey, you may not like this movie, but I like it. Here's what this side, this me and this side of the fandom is doing, to support Zack Snyder and the Snyder Cut. Feel free to join, or please leave me alone. That's the peaceful side. Again, if you want to go, gangster harmony on the person, that's your business. I'm not trying to do that, because that's not doing anything good. It invites negative energy, it invites toxicity, and it just makes things worse. And there's been like you pointed out, friend, there's been a divide in the fandom, even more so now, beyond BVS, beyond Man of Steel, because there's so many that are frustrated. There are so many that want immediate results. There's so many that are confused, and at the end of the day, if you want to fight for the Snyder Cut, fight for the Snyder Cut, support it, invite other people, and like you said, inform other people, tell them exactly what happened, how WB forced all these changes. Zach has an epic cut of the film. It's all on WB to release it. Say, hey, this is why I like Man of Steel. This is why I like BVS. I like other superhero movies too, but these movies speak to me in this way. Help out in ways that others aren't, or in ways that haven't been thought of yet. Inform people, let people know, and we've seen that as of late as well. But I think at the end of the day, if you're wasting all your energy on fighting and calling, just arguing on Twitter with people that you don't know, that energy could be used elsewhere. And again, I know it's tough. I will admit that I've gotten in these battles. I've engaged in these battles. I got a bigger axe, so I'm gonna swing hard. But I've gotten in these battles. But again, use your energy and inform people. Keep promoting it, keep fighting it. If you want to move on, stay out of the way. You got a glimpse of what we can be like with the, videos on Twitter, video bombing, if that's the term you want to use, on Twitter a few months back. And I promise you, we'll grow exponentially, and we've already gone exponentially. And it's only a matter of time before somebody leaks all this out to the media, if they keep on trying to stay silent. But that's a whole nother video. Fran, did you have anything else you wanted to add, my brother?
Not really. I think that I've gone in enough rant about these kind of things. That's a simple thing that you say, you have to defend yourself if someone says, Zack Snyder is a hack or something like that. That's completely understandable. I will also jump in if someone says something like that. But the thing is, I'm criticizing the civil war in the movement. Criticizing people that are doing even more than you and I to get that movie out. Like, some people are criticizing some other people because they give information or they do some stuff that they don't like, and all of us want the same thing.
Right.
If someone says, BBS is a shit movie, I understand that you jump out and say, yo, it's not a bad movie, this and that, and I understand it. But the thing is that because of someone has a different opinion inside the movement, if you jump out and say you're a toxic and you're a snake and this and that, you're going to create divisiveness, and you're going to divide this fandom, and this is going to be Civil War 2. So just be respectful, have manners, think before you tweet, and see that everyone in this movement wants the same thing, and fighting among ourselves is not going to help in any way.
I agree. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll be all for today's video. I will leave a link to Fran's channel in the description. You all go subscribe to Fran's channel. He's a great person, great collaborator, well-versed, and is also a person I'm glad to call a brother through all of this. And stop being stingy with the likes as well on both of our channels. Subscribe, like, and comment again. And remember, do not get triggered. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye bye.